What's up, guys? All good? Today we're here for another review on the channel, and today we're going to read a manhwa about an academy, superpowers, and lots of testosterone. Alright, no more stalling. Let's get into the story. Our story begins with a beautiful pink-haired woman telling us that, with monsters approaching, they were looking for new rays of hope, and that it was time for us to become heroes. Because our story was about to begin, all we had to do was call the Hero Association. Cut to this whole scene being just a commercial on a big screen, with two guys talking about the healer girl, saying she was so pretty, even prettier than an idol, actually, but one of them asks why she only does modeling work if she's an A-rank healer. The other guy realizes that, yeah, he's never actually seen her in a raid. While all this is being said, the healer girl herself, I'm just waiting for them to say her name so I can start calling her properly. Anyway, she was listening to the conversation and looked sad about all of it, a dark past, maybe? She tells us that, suddenly, sometime in a year that's not shown, but it was already the 2000s, humanity was overrun by chaos due to a monster invasion. But isn't there that saying, God doesn't give you a burden you can't bear? Because of that, humanity opened its eyes to a new power. Gaining superpowers, people started to manifest. Aura. The color of the aura indicated their power level, being red equals S rank, yellow equals A rank, green equals B rank, and blue equals C rank. If there are more, they haven't been shown yet. This became the standard to categorize people with powers. Humanity started calling these people the only hope against monsters. Heroes! The scene cuts to someone literally yelling, "Cut!" and saying that the healer girl's expression was too serious. He asks if she's not supposed to be a mascot, since she couldn't even do the one thing she was there for, which was to smile. The girl apologizes for looking worn out. The commercial director tells her she looks way better when she's smiling, so he tells her to smile like a mascot should. What a motivational speech, huh? She tells us this wasn't the life she wanted as a hero. She had dreamed of being a hero ever since she was a child, and when she was a bit older, she manifested her healing powers in the middle of school. When she was registered as an A-rank hero, she was thrilled. But since life's no bed of roses, when she saw what being a hero was really like, seeing her fellow heroes get defeated, she froze in fear and couldn't do a thing. She was a hero who couldn't even use her own abilities. The only thing she still had going for her was her looks. That's when she chose to switch professions. She kept hiding from people so no one would find out about her condition, but unfortunately, now she was famous. Cut to her hitting her head on a lamppost. Hearing a noise on the ground, she sees an adorable little cat in a box. She gets worried that it might be hurt, but it doesn't really look like a stray. The cat makes the saddest face ever, and she wonders what kind of monster left it like that. Looking at the cat's collar, she reads the name, Maze Forte, or in English, Stronger. She looks to the side and sees a gym. She randomly connects Stronger to the gym. Arriving at the gym door, she asks if anyone is inside, saying she found their cat. She walks in on a not-so-normal scene. Two guys, one doing planks, yelling that he couldn't take it anymore, and the other yelling at him to trust the process, that the pain he was feeling was just because it was his first time, but it would get better. I've heard that line before. The guy doing planks tells the other one he thinks someone's watching them. Our girl, super embarrassed, apologizes and says she ended up in the wrong place, tells them to just keep doing what they were doing. The crazy guy, who seems to be our beloved protagonist, holds the door and says, "How could a baby like her end up in a gym?" Then tells her not to be scared and to come in. She looks at this guy, wearing a tiger shirt, and thinks he's super gross. With tears in her eyes, she says she just came to return the cat. And yes, the cat was an actor. Literally a super Chad cat actor. This little devil was drinking coffee with glasses on, and even winked at our protagonist. The protagonist, realizing this, tells Kiwon, the guy doing planks, to go buy a jockball dish for their potential new client. He suddenly starts evaluating her. Says her shoulders are too soft, her knees are turning inward, even says her heels were about to abandon her. But she didn't need to worry, because he was going to make it easy for her to get in shape. She doesn't understand what's going to be easy, and he just says one thing, with a weird grin, PT, as in personal training. They start doing a series of workouts, and she actually starts doing everything he tells her to. Then, suddenly, her phone rings. When she looks at it, it's a monster alert, a B-rank monster. This alert only goes off for the hero closest to the location. And guess who's the closest hero? Yep, her. She gets scared to go, and we already know why. The protagonist sees she's a bit nervous, and says that if she needs to use the bathroom, it's the door to her left. She says that's not it, and he just tells her to go. He turns around and says she should do what she wants instead of holding back, so she won't regret it later, Aura. And he only turned around to get toilet paper. I take back what I said. But when he turns to talk to her again, she had already left. He says she must have really needed to go to the bathroom to run off without any toilet paper. In reality, she was running straight toward the monster that had appeared, obviously. When she gets to the scene, she realizes it's just her and the monster, no other hero nearby. I don't know how, but she has information about the monster. Its name is Nonaman. Its ability is having super strength, destroying everything in its path with ridiculous power. Our heroine has to do everything she can. I think she's actually the protagonist. She sees a little girl trapped under some rubble, about to be crushed under the foot of the ugly crocodile thing. She starts to freeze up again. Desperate to move, she hears someone yelling at her to run, and it works. She runs and manages to save the girl quickly. She asks if the girl is okay, and if she can move. The girl says she knows her, and that the monster just appeared out of nowhere, and she was really scared. Just as the crocodile monster was about to go after our girl, the real protagonist shows up, grinning from ear to ear. All might. Is that you? And lands a massive punch on the monster, sending it flying several meters away. Our healer girl is relieved to have another hero nearby, and when she takes a closer look at who it is. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's him calling himself the Alpha Man. He looks at her and says, I told you the bathroom was the door to your left. The crocodile shows up again, winding up for a punch toward our protag. Even with Cure Girl, I'll call her that from now on, warning him, the protagonist takes a right hook straight to the face. Ouch. Quickly, our protag grabs some rocks from the ground and throws them at the monster, dodging another punch. Cure Girl, watching the fight, says she can't see the protag's aura. Of course, he's the protagonist. He doesn't need one. She thinks he must just be a regular person. She wonders why he's doing something so dangerous. She wonders why he isn't afraid. Meanwhile, our protag is having a fair brawl. Sometimes the monster lands hits, sometimes he does. He starts laughing, shouting if that was all this damn crocodile had. Cure Girl wonders if maybe he has some kind of secret weapon. He says the monster would never beat him because... She gets excited, eager to hear the reason too. And he drops this, because the A-rank hero, Cure Girl, was there. Everyone's doomed. She's the protag's secret weapon. She starts shaking her head saying no, and the protag's face hits the floor as the monster winds up another punch. Taking another huge blow, he crashes to the ground, and she apologizes to him. At least heal him. Come on. Just as I say that, she tries to heal him, but it doesn't work at all. After our dear protag gets clobbered, the monster starts confidently walking toward her. The protag gets up and says this messed up his self-esteem. He admits the monster beat him once, but says his body, forged for years in steel, can't be underestimated that easily. Even in that condition, he's still the owner of stronger Jim. The monster gives him another huge kick. He says that hurt more than he expected. He tells her it's not her fault and asks Cure Girl to stop crying like a baby. She wonders how, as a hero, she's the one being comforted by a civilian. Just as the monster goes in for a final attack on the protag, she tries one last time, and finally manages to activate her healing ability on him. He blocks the monster's punch, surrounded by Cure Girl's skill, a skill that, as the name suggests, heals, restores health, and mends the wounds of her target. The protag says that defeating a monster with a cute girl who just awakened is the best thing in the world, and he throws the beast away. He grabs a piece of pillar, what is this guy on, and smacks the monster in the face. His friend arrives with his incredible secret weapon, and believe it or not, it's a giant chicken drumstick. Makes sense, total sense? The monster charges, and the protag simply blocks the crocodile's punch with the chicken leg. Smacks the thing in the face, yelling, "Protein dumbbell!" Every attack he lands has the name of some workout exercise. After some fighting scene references, and a bunch of nonsense attack names. Yes, our man, this guy is a real man, defeats the monster. He reaches out a hand to our beautiful girl and says her story starts now, joking just like she says in her commercial. She says she had a different premonition this time, and as she stretches out her hand with a bit of blood on it, he pulls out a contract to join his gym family right then and there, and makes her stamp it with her fingertip without realizing. Sneaky protagonist. Back at the gym, the protag is training, yelling at her to stop messing around and have the discipline to lift the damn bar. She wonders why the hell she's even in that gym. Flashback to right after they defeated the monster. He explains that in the contract, she gets a personal trainer, aka the protag, for just $100 a month or $1,300 for a whole year. This math makes no sense. He flashes a huge grin and tells Miss Jihyun, finally they say her name, that she's on her way to becoming the healthiest and fittest healer on the planet. I believe it. Cut to her crying at the gym, after a workout set, wanting to go home. She can't even put strength into her hands. She remembers that night, she gained a power she had never felt before, and was finally able to use her abilities again. She still can't figure out how regaining her powers could have anything to do with the protag. She even considers spending more time with him to see if she can improve more, but complains that it shouldn't be like that. Just go train already. The cat comes over to nuzzle her, sneaky little furball. Kim Woong shows up, handing her a bottle of water and commenting that the first time is always the hardest. He gives her a motivational line, saying that even though it's hard now, the sweat she's shedding will turn into muscle in the future. Stay natty, kids. Kim Woong drops something from his bag, and Jihyun points it out. Kim Woong tells her to keep it a secret, since it's a script for a movie he's been acting in occasionally. Jihyun asks if she can read a bit of the script. Kim Woong lets her. She reads that he was the villain in the movie, not the main character, and asks if he felt sad about that. He says no, because it's a role that makes people hate him on and off stage. But for a protagonist to shine, a villain must exist, and he feels fulfilled playing that role. He smiles, and says he likes playing villains. That's definitely villain talk. She actually finds Ki Woong admirable. Meanwhile, he's stacking more weight on the squat bar. She finds his mentality really strong, someone who doesn't care what others think. She says she's going to get his autograph later. At the same time, he just starts crapping himself while trying to do a squat. The protag starts yelling at him, asking if that's all he's got. He even calls him a useless piece of shit, saying that not calling him that would be an insult to useless people. I want a personal trainer like this. Ji-hyun tells the protag to help Ki-won with the bar, or else he'd get crushed. But the protag says no, because a piece of crap like him should do it on his own. He keeps insulting Ki-won more and more. The only thing he didn't do was talk about the guy's mom, and that's when we find out Ki-won is a masochist, because the more he gets insulted, the more strength he gains. And yes, he lifts the bar. Ji-hyun gets an alert, a public assistance request, aimed at heroes from Class A to C, for cleaning up collapsed buildings. Ki-won asks if they should go. Ji-hyun tries to explain that the request is for heroes only, and the protag comments that he forgot to tell her our boy Ki-won is actually a Class B hero. Let's go! Already at the site where the heroes were called, the protag and Ji-hyun arrive looking for where Ki-won might be. A random guy recognizes Ji-hyun from the video that went viral on social media. He starts asking her to do a little dance, so he can post it on his Insta too, but she apologizes and says she's on a mission right now. He tells her to stop lying, because she's not the type to go on missions, and grabs her arm, telling her to at least shake her ass for the camera once. She insists for him to let go of her arm. He says he'll buy her dinner if she does it. The protag, upon hearing the word dinner, starts doing a super cringe dance and asks if he can get the dinner instead. This protag is too much. The guy gets furious with the protag, asking if he's gone crazy. As he gets closer, he recognizes the protag's face. And now it's revealed. 3 years ago, in the winter, this same random guy was smoking with some other randos in a no-smoking zone, when our beloved protag shows up shirtless, totally ripped, and asks them to put out the cigarettes. Another random number 2, asks if our protag is some kind of exhibitionist or something, and tells him to leave if he doesn't want to get beaten up. Random number 1 tells number 2 to chill, because that's no way to talk to an adult. He apologizes to the protag and says they didn't know it was a no-smoking area. The protag asks if those boys didn't know that smoking affects the production of their little buddies, you know what he means, and tells them to hand over the rest of the cigarettes, sacrificing himself for their sake. Random number 1 tears the sign that said, "No smoking area," and spits in the protag's face. I would have decked him right there. Our protag just stands there staring at the boys, who start mocking him. Random number 1, in a brilliant move, decides to punch the protag to see if he'll react. What goes through these Korean kids' heads? Naturally, they get their asses kicked by our protag. Back to the present, the protag also remembers the face of random number 1, and says it's been a long time since they last saw each other. He even asks if he quit smoking. The random says he's been looking for the protag for a long time and, as his aura starts glowing, we're screwed, says he's become more of an adult since last time. He suddenly launches a pillar of fire at the protag. Ji-hyun screams his name. Horse King. For some reason, that's his nickname. The random starts saying that a bastard like the protag, who isn't even awakened, has no chance of fighting him. But our protag is basically this world's Saitama, and lands a solid punch right in the guy's mouth, sending him flying and knocking out his teeth. Looking down at the rando on the ground, the protag says that a guy like him, who didn't even work to get powers, really thought he could beat someone who's sculpted these muscles for years. Makes sense. Then another woman shows up, saying she heard a commotion and recognizes it's our dear protag from Easy Fun Gym, and says it really must be fate. Her name and powers haven't been revealed yet, but her nickname is Heart King, and she's built almost better than the protag. Fun fact, her type is literally exactly the protag. Heart King says it's been a while since she last saw our protag, says it's good to see him, and politely asks Ji-hyun to excuse her. Ji-hyun is surprised to find out they know each other. The woman walks up to the protag and literally grabs his muscles in a speech bubble that, for both our dignity's sake, I will not describe. The protag, clearly uncomfortable ever since she arrived, bolts as soon as she, not even joking, licks his shoulder, begging Ji-hyun to save his life. In a hilarious scene, she starts chasing after him, saying she'll make him feel good like last time. Please, stop with these spicy jokes. Ji-hyun, left behind, sees the rando regaining consciousness and asks if he's okay. He shoves her aside and says he won't forget the protag. Since he heard the name of the protag's gym, he says he's going to burn it to the ground. Ji-hyun, hearing this, can't just stand by. She says she can't let him do that, and tells him he's the one who started the whole fight. She asks if he isn't ashamed of himself, since he resorts to dirty tricks because he's just trash. He yells at her to shut up. She yells back, reciting the law that awakened individuals can't use their powers on civilians. And since he literally tried to burn the protag, that obviously counts as attempted murder. She says if he tries to cause another scene, she'll stop him herself as a hero. As the cowardly rando charges at our beloved Ji-hyun, he gets hit by some kind of slime. A massive, disgusting, yellow monster appears, saying they should give him Tong Hulu. This monster is an A rank, known as Fat Hulu. His ability is, literally sugar-based stomach acid. He throws a sticky mix of sugar to immobilize or suffocate his target. He attacks Ji-hyun, who's saved by a protective barrier. A woman tells Ji-hyun to get out of the way because she's interfering. This woman then creates an energy cage. Ji-hyun recognizes her as a former S-rank hero, Yura. This one's strong, folks. The monster manages to break out of the barrier because, as Ji-hyun points out, his powers are sticky and gross. Yura creates a hammer made of matter and smashes the monster quickly. She stops flying and says Ji-hyun looks familiar. Ji-hyun replies that they saw each other at the Hero Association, introducing herself as Cure Girl. Yura says she was the clown from that time. Why the shade? Our protag comes running toward Yura, literally shouting, "Yami Kudasai!" with Heart King clinging to his back trying to kiss him. Yura gets startled and sends Heart King flying all the way to China. Yura says the protag really can't do anything without her, and then sees our Ji-hyun checking on the protag, telling him to stop crying and relax. That makes her furious. Looks like our protag is in high demand. He gives a hi to Yura, and when he was about to comment that it's been a while since she showed up at the gym, she punches him into the ground. So much love for this man. Ji-hyun wonders if they know each other, when the monster reappears and attacks her from behind. Our protag quickly saves her. It's actually a really cute scene. He asks if she's okay, and she says yes and thanks him. He flashes a huge smile in slow motion and says, "You're welcome." She's definitely falling for him. Yura, who seems a bit possessive, calls Ji-hyun a piece of shit in her mind, saying she's pretending to be some innocent slut. LOL. Yura pretends to trip just to see if the protag would help her. One's worse than the other. But the monster is faster, and the protag yells for Yura to save him. She makes both of them float toward her and creates a freezer. Ji-hyun is impressed, seeing an S-rank hero in action for the first time. The protag says she did great. Yura asks if he's just gonna stand there or if he's gonna help. She materializes an American football uniform and then launches him with a cannon straight at the monster. In a beautifully drawn sequence, the two charge at each other, and obviously, the protag pierces right through the monster and says there will be no more obesity. Ji-hyun notices a faint rainbow-colored aura coming from the protag's hand, but she thinks that can't be possible, since he's just a regular human. The protag asks Ji-hyun if she's hungry and invites her to eat. He and Yura go on ahead, and once again, Ji-hyun feels like she couldn't do anything. Already at the restaurant, Yura complains about the protag ordering the same food again, pork. He tells her to stop whining and start eating. She's clearly in love with him. The protag, innocently, tells Ji-hyun to open her mouth and offers her a piece of pork. Ji-hyun, embarrassed, says she's fine, not hungry, and then her stomach growls at that exact moment. Ki-woong asks if Ji-hyun doesn't like the food, and Yura, super annoyed, says to just let her stay hungry. Ji-hyun says she's not eating because she's currently on a diet, but she tells us that she's never told anyone she has anorexia, aka an eating disorder. The protag says extreme dieting isn't allowed around him. The nutrients from meat are essential after training. Good food builds a good body. Then he tells her to do 10 sets of chewing that meat. Literally chewing to failure. After lots of shouting, she decides to try a bite, and, of course, it's way too delicious. She literally imagines 2 pigs dancing in her mouth. She tells the protag it's amazing. Yura, not wanting to fall behind, starts eating pork like never before. The protag laughs and says protein is the best thing in the world. This manhwa is amazing. At the protag's gym, we see our beloved Ji-hyun training alone, and after she looks at herself in the mirror, please stop with this fan service, artist, she feels like she's changed completely since she started training and eating well. She had even stopped feeling depressed. Go train, kids. Someone sneaks up behind Ji-hyun with a cardboard box on their head, saying, "My brother!" Ji-hyun, startled, asks who that person is. A girl is shown crying, begging them to stop her brother. Cut to the girl explaining that she and her brother lost their parents when they were young. Ever since then, her brother did everything he could to fill the hole they left, working day and night, saving money to send her to study abroad. That's a real brother. She says that thanks to him, she managed to graduate college, and then returned to Korea just a few days ago. But since she came back, she's noticed that her brother has been acting really strange. I already know who this is, so she decided to follow him, since he'd disappear and not come home often. When she saw him through the glass, she came face to face with our protag in nothing but tiger-striped underwear, doing a double biceps pose. Unfortunately, she's not the protag's sister. She's convinced the protag brainwashed her brother. Ji-hyun tries to explain to the girl that this place is where people gather and train. Suddenly, they hear a super weird noise coming from the door. The two of them, terrified, go check it out, and yeah, it really does look like a cult of lunatics lifting weights. When they peek behind the curtain, they see a bunch of guys wearing makeup. Even I got scared at this part. They scream that it's time to go to hell. Ji-hyun thinks they're about to get kidnapped, but they just run out of the gym, leaving blood trails behind. The two girls decide to follow them. The girl says she's not sure if one of those guys was her brother because of the makeup. They see them threatening to rob an old lady at a crosswalk, but out of nowhere, they just take her groceries and help her cross the street. Everywhere they go, they help people in completely abnormal ways. They keep following them to an abandoned place. Once there, they see a guard taking money and letting those weirdos inside. They genuinely believe it's an evil secret cult. In a hilarious scene, the girls pretend to be cult members, with the girl climbing on top of Ji-hyun, and she even manages to bang her head on the door. They make it inside, very discreetly. Inside, they see a bunch of people in hoods. On the stage, the same weird guy from before shouts that the gates of hell have opened. The girl recognizes that voice as her brother's. A curtain opens, revealing a man carrying a bed with a red cloth over it. The guy shouts, asking everyone if they're ready. That man reveals himself to be, of course, our damn protag. Ji-hyun realizes that everyone present was from the protag's gym. She then starts to think maybe the protag really is the leader of a cult. The girl's brother shouts that it's time for the sacrifice. This is bizarre. The protag pulls out a knife and slices open what was wrapped on the stretcher. A bunch of blood gushes out. Did I say blood? Actually, it's ketchup. A ton of ketchup and burgers. They were literally a rock band. Out of nowhere, they start singing. Ji-hyun looks at the girl and sees she's crying. The girl says that, even though her brother is wearing scary makeup, he's making everyone happy, just like he always did. That's adorable. Even S-rank or A-rank heroes can't do what they're doing. People like him, who can make others smile, are the true heroes. What a line. They both get into it, and start enjoying the music. But then we get a shot from space, the planet seen from above, with a target locked on Earth, and an absurdly huge spaceship approaching. Back at the gym, after that wild concert, everyone is chilling after the amazing performance. Just as the protag is about to say something, the girl's brother throws juice in his face and runs away laughing. Ji-hyun and the girl arrive at the scene, and she realizes all the people with the makeup were from the gym, all of them ridiculously good-looking, by the way. After the protag nearly splits the girl's brother in half, he goes to drain the dragon with Ki-woong. A really cute girl stops them, and the protag thinks it's his first time being asked for an autograph. She asks if the protag wouldn't mind, and he says not at all, but then she shoves him aside because she's interested in Ki-woong, the goat. The girl's brother says the show donations were a success. Ji-hyun says that even if they seem weird, they're really good at what they do. Yura says it's thanks to both the protag and the girl's brother. They help people who lost their families due to monster attacks. Those same people came together and formed a band, and now they use the concert revenue to support those in need. That's what it means to be a hero. Ji-hyun says maybe that's why she feels happy when she's around the protag. New couple alert? She takes the opportunity to ask Yura how she met the protag. Since they seemed very close, Yura thinks she meant they seemed like a couple. Cut to a flashback of Yura, apparently chubby, doing cardio at the gym. She falls off the treadmill, and the protag comes up and tells her to stop already. She'd been doing cardio for 3 freaking hours. She yells at him to leave, and he says there's no need to be shy. Even though he looks like that, he says he's the gym director. She screams at him to go away and calls him a talking horse. There's the nickname. He does look like a horse. She thinks everyone's laughing at her for being fat and tells them to stop staring. She literally believes everyone is mocking her just for running on the treadmill. The protag says she must be imagining things, but she just runs away. The next day, Yura is back on the treadmill, and once again she trips. Just as she's about to fall, our protag shows up and catches her. She's shocked to see him as fat as she is. She asks what happened to him. He says maybe he went on a food tour. He had forgotten what it felt like to be full. She starts crying and says now everyone's going to judge him for looking like that. She says that now he'll never be loved again. That's harsh. The girl's brother shows up during the conversation and asks what's with the protag's face. When Yura was about to snap back, the friend starts laughing, saying he wants to try lifting him at that size. The protag tells Yura that people's opinions won't change just because he gained some weight. He's just being himself. He says she doesn't need to stress about it and tells her to enjoy life, whether that means training or anything else. After that, we see several moments of him training with her, eating with her, very wholesome stuff. Back to the present, when everyone's waiting for the protag to come back from the bathroom, an earthquake hits the city. Everyone thinks it's a monster, and when they run outside, they see a giant prism floating over the city. Ki-woong says they all got an alert telling them to evacuate the city as soon as possible. Ji-hyun wonders if they should really just turn their backs and leave, but Yura says they should stay. Everyone asks the protag what he thinks, and he says it's impossible to fight that thing. It's enormous. Then, a light shines down from the ship, and an alien appears, saying it's really bizarre to witness a life form he's never seen before, a definitive adaptation to survive in an unknown environment. He finishes by saying he's excited to see how strong a warrior is that he planted in this world. It cuts to the alien commander of the 5th Legion, and he's ugly man. Even the protag starts laughing at his face. Suddenly, a voice comes from the ship saying they aren't human, but completely different beings from the seeds they planted on Earth, possibly the monsters. According to the ship's analysis, only 10% of the warriors bear fruit, and those fruits are being wiped out by humans, meaning the cultivation was a failure. The alien gets pissed, saying humans are just parasites. He's not wrong, and that he'll wipe them all out. Now that's too far. The protag starts walking toward him, because he can't just stand there listening to this circus clown calling them insects. His friends tell him to come back, because it looks dangerous. The protag asks if they're scared. I wouldn't let that slide. After getting close to the alien, it looks like a dwarf compared to the protag, who says that taking care of children is his specialty. Just as the alien was about to attack him, the protag strikes a JoJo pose and says someone parked their spaceship illegally. Makes perfect sense. As the alien turns around, he kicks him hard in the face and asks, "Who is going to exterminate who? Mess with humans, huh?" The alien goes to strike back, but the protag's friends arrive with a series of choreographed moves and save him. One of the protag's friends was about to finish the alien with a guitar strike, but the protag steps in and says it's his turn. The alien charges up a beam of light, and the protag barely dodges it. It hits his leg, turning part of it to stone. Unfortunately, our man, who's finally called by name, Dave, isn't so lucky. He is shown completely petrified, and tragically he shatters. Everyone is in shock at what just happened. His sister starts crying. Without mercy, the alien charges up another attack, and the protag is paralyzed seeing one of his best friends die. Our protag, seeing his best friend shattered on the ground and his sister crying, remembers all the good memories they had together. The alien says they're too noisy, and as he's about to launch another attack, our protag finally awakens with an aura no one had ever seen before. Everyone is shocked, even the voice from inside the ship. The protag charges at the alien, but unfortunately, he can't land a single hit. The alien starts literally beating the crap out of him. Even after being brutally smashed, the protag somehow still finds the strength to try fighting back, though the alien finds the whole thing hilarious. Ji-hyun shouts for him to stop, and Yura appears, throwing the protag out of the area. She tells everyone to run while it's still just one enemy, and since she's an S rank, she won't go down so easily. Goat. The ship then teleports a bunch of other aliens to attack the city, and the alien, who is wrecking the protag, says it's a shame he has to leave, but that everything ends here, ordering the others to clean up. Yura creates a barrier and tells everyone to run. Sadly, her barrier is far too weak to hold back those creatures, who quickly tear through it. But just when things seem hopeless, another S-rank hero arrives, nicknamed 21st Century Boy, aka Juhan, and starts shooting the aliens. Yura says he's super late, but he notices the aliens injured her stomach, and he gets furious, asking how they dared to scratch his beloved fiancée, then unloads bullets on the monsters. One of the aliens charges at Dave's sister, R.I.P. Dave, but she's saved by someone else who just arrived, someone we've seen since the beginning of the manhwa, the manager of the protag's gym, also super strong, shapely, and with no powers. He goes ham on the aliens, literally beating them down. Thanks to the power of friendship and a whole lot of muscle, they manage to defeat the aliens that were there. Juhan asks if his beloved girlfriend, aka Yura, they're not dating, is okay. He then realizes one person is missing, the big-mouthed old man. Him! Meaning our protag, who was knocked out and ended up unconscious in a lake somewhere deep in the forest. Remember how I said it was a giant spaceship? Yeah, the one that showed up earlier was just one of thousands. All of Seoul was attacked by these same monsters. The city is devastated. In the Hero Association's conference room, we see someone reporting simultaneous invasions happening all over the world, saying that at this rate, humanity would be wiped out in about a month. Someone else says this shouldn't be called an invasion, but a cleansing. Another person says the harvest came earlier than expected. Yes, they knew something was going on behind the scenes. One person suspects the info was leaked from inside, but someone else says that's unlikely. The cultivation had been running smoothly with no issues. The aliens are just destroying everything in sight now. What's strange is that this time, the forces are being led directly by a commander-level being. Yeah, no kidding. He says that if they just sit and watch again this time, Earth will be discarded. Translation, destroyed. Another voice says they can't delay anymore and asks to show the current status of the samples, aka humans. Things aren't looking good. They end with a weird, random comment about going out to eat Chinese food. Cut to a bird flying and smacking into an invisible barrier. Two aliens are checking whether there are any humans around. After confirming there's nothing, they leave. Ju-Han had used a drone to place a protection barrier around the Protog's gym, making it invisible. Yura is pissed off about everything going on, while the Hero Association hasn't made a single move. Ji-Hyun says she wishes she could be doing more, but Ki-Woong tells her she's already helping a lot by healing them with her power. He then tells her to heal their kitty. Yes, they hurt the cat, how dare they? She says he's not getting any better, even with her healing. Ju-Han blames it all on the horse-faced Protag. Ji-Hyun asks if he managed to hide the Protag's group and friends. He tells her not to worry, he got them all to a safe place. Yura then asks what this creature is that's always with the Protag, the cat. He explains that the creature is called a Shinsu. The Protag Shinsu isn't just a pet, it's a being that shares everything with its owner, even emotions and pain. That's why the cat's sick. Ju-Han says it's like an inseparable bond, like him and Yura. I roll. Ji-Hyun asks Ki-Woong if anything like this had happened to the Protag before. Ki-Woong says maybe it has something to do with Dave, the girl's brother. Ki-Woong had heard that Dave was like a mentor to the Protag. We get the classic flashback, where our skinny Protag tries to ask a girl out by giving her a bouquet of roses, only to get slapped in the face as she tells him to never show up in front of her again. He already had the "No!" Our Protag falls to the ground crying, saying this always happens, that no one ever understands his true love. That's when he looks up and sees the incredible Dave, all made up, with two girls on his arms. He can't understand how, even looking like that, girls still like him. It's the muscles, obviously. The Protag thinks Dave is some sort of dating master, so he drops to his knees and starts screaming, saying he also wants to experience true love, and begs Dave to teach him. The girls freak out and tell him to leave, but Dave, being a true gentleman, apologizes to the girls and tells them their date ends here. He extends a hand to the Protag and says that with the body he has, he'll make the Protag into a real man. At a gym, Dave explains that the best guarantee for attracting the opposite sex is having big, beautiful muscles. Take notes, boys. And the gym is where our Protag would be reborn. After a few months of intense training, Dave tells him he's gotten a lot better. And now, with those basics complete, he's ready. The muscles were starting to speak. Dave tells the Protag to take this, and wear the real suit, the final piece to become a true man, because starting today, he'll become a true relationship specialist. At a bus stop, the Protag meets a beautiful girl and decides to talk to her, and we're shown he now literally looks like a guy ready to dance in the middle of carnival. Naturally, he gets rejected. When he tells Dave what happened, Dave says the Protag somehow managed to break his perfect theory with a 100% success rate. Or not. The protag asks Dave what he should do, saying he has no confidence left. Dave says something's not right. That supreme technique had earned him over 200 points with more than 30 women in the past decade. Wiping off his makeup, Dave looks the protag straight in the eyes and asks what the hell went wrong, revealing the truth. The reason it always worked for Dave was because the bastard was just too handsome. This man was born with a VIP skin. When the protag sees Dave's face, he starts laughing and calls him a son of a bitch. Says he's gonna take Dave down for lying to him. Dave tries to calm him down, saying he doesn't understand what went wrong either. The protag asks how he had the nerve to keep disrespecting him after fooling him. Then he asks Dave how old he is. Dave says he's 28, and now even more pissed off, the protag tells him to start calling him Big Bro, because besides being hot, he's younger too. At the same time, in the present, our protag is remembering all of this while floating in a lake, flailing around. Ki-woong says that just thinking about how the protag must have felt losing Dave, who he loved so much. Ji-hyun wonders at what point in that story it seemed like the two of them were in love. She wouldn't understand. Yura says that, either way, the protag isn't in good shape right now, and they need to find him fast. Ju-han says it's impossible, because no one knows where he ended up. Even with Ju-han scanning the area with his drone, he confirmed the protag wasn't there, and that he's probably already gone. Gone. Yura tells them to stay hidden. She'll go look for the protag alone. She starts crying, saying that if he disappears, she won't know what to do. Ji-hyun asks Ju-han if there's no other way. He says that even though he's a genius, he can't do everything. That's when, to everyone's surprise, Heart King appears, saying she'll warmly embrace the protag's wounds. But she's confused to find only women and a little boy there. Strange, since she had followed the scent of a man hungry for love. She starts wondering if her radar is broken. Ju-han asks how she managed to get in, considering he hid the entire building with a hologram. Heart Love tells him not to be surprised. That's not something that could stop the true power of love. Ki-woong is shown hiding inside a closet, trembling in fear of Heart King. She appears right in front of him like a ghost, asking if he knew she would find him there, the man hungry for love. Poor Ki-woong didn't stand a chance. Ji-hyun interrupts Heart King and asks her to take her somewhere. Cut to the two of them running through the forest, with Heart King complaining that Ji-hyun's getting way too close to her. She says she hates the bodies of skinny girls. Ji-hyun warns Heart King that monsters are coming to attack them, but she quickly wipes them out, saying, "Don't worry, protag, we're coming for you." Cut to a place where someone asks our protag if he's having fun. He stands up and sees that he's in a blood-red river, panicking, thinking it's actually blood. The voice asks if he thinks it's fun, suddenly becoming a superhero. The protag asks who the hell is talking, and why they're scaring people, and doing evil things. The voice says his nickname, Alpha Male, was a joke. He appears from the water out of nowhere. The protag, scared again, punches him in the face. Then, as he looks around, he sees a scene from his past, one where he was being bullied in school. The bullies are forcing him to buy food for them. Random number 1 says that lunch break started a while ago and throws a banana peel on the protag's head, who's lying on the floor. He asks if the protag is trying to starve him out, since he knows he can't beat him in a fight. The protag tries to explain, saying the teacher called him into the classroom, so he couldn't buy their food. Our protag realizes this place is showing him the worst moments of his life. The voice he's been hearing says he nailed it. The protag tells him to shut up, but then demands he say who the hell he is and what he's doing there. Fair enough. The protagonist thinks he's dreaming, so he punches himself in the face. A darker, evil version of him appears and says dreams are nonsense. He tells the protagonist to look him in the eye, calling him an idiot who only knows how to get beat up, an idiot trying to act like a main character. The protagonist tells him to stop talking nonsense. The evil version then shows Dave's body and says Dave was just another idiot, running around pretending to be a hero, a so-called alpha male. He says Dave was a complete joke and blames everything on the protagonist. He screams and summons a giant statue of Dave, yelling why someone like Dave had to die because of a fool like him. The protagonist covers his face and closes his eyes to defend himself, but when he opens them again, he's suddenly in a different place. He finds himself surrounded by a bunch of strange people. Even Jesus shows up at some point. As he walks around, he bumps into Yura, who's hanging upside down like a bat. He tells her to stand upright, and with a psychotic expression, she tells him to shut up, asking who the hell he thinks he is. She says he's nothing more than a petty villain. Confused, the protagonist asks Yura to calm down. Suddenly, someone in the background shouts loudly that they found something. He says he was completely deceived. A published newspaper article carried a fake story, the one where Dave jumped in front of the protagonist to save him, turning from flesh to stone, and then shattering completely, an unnecessary sacrifice for a villain who was nothing but trash. The person saying this? None other than their so-called friend, Ki-woong. The protagonist tries to ask why they keep calling him a villain. Out of nowhere, someone yells at him to sit down and smashes something into the wall, an extremely ugly villain, by the way. At this point, the protagonist begins to see visions of all his friends calling him a loser, a fake, a villain. Dave's sister says it's all his fault. The protagonist starts to go insane, screaming that he doesn't understand anything anymore. All he was trying to do was protect everyone. The evil version of him asks if he really can't see that he's the only one to blame for Dave's death. Cut to Ji-hyun, who has just found the protagonist's body. She has the brilliant idea of taking him to the hospital, because obviously the hospital is still standing while the whole world is under attack. Heart King tells Ji-hyun to calm down. She realizes the protagonist isn't just unconscious. She says taking him to a hospital won't fix anything. Ji-hyun doesn't understand what Heart King means. Heart King tries to explain. It's more like he's in a deep sleep, just a bit different, a lot different, actually. Ji-hyun asks how she knows that, and Heart King says it's woman's intuition. To which Ji-hyun responds, "Are you even a woman?" LMAO. Heart King smiles and says this situation is just like a Disney movie. Here we go. She says the only way to wake a prince sleeping from a witch's curse is. I think you know where this is going. Of course, she goes in to kiss him, but right before she does, she gets decked by Ji-hyun, who yells that it's disgusting. Jealous, sweetie? Ji-hyun tells the protagonist to just hold on a little longer. She promises she'll find a way to heal him. Cut to Yura, Ju-han, and Ki-woong. Suddenly, an alarm goes off. An unidentified monster is approaching rapidly, just 100 meters away. Ju-han says that shouldn't even be possible. Yura shouts for everyone to get to safety, but there's no time. A huge explosion hits, and Yura passes out. Ju-han rushes to her. As Ki-woong gets up, two monsters that look human rush at him to land two punches. Still dizzy from the blast, Ki-woong doesn't react in time. Just when it seems like he's about to be hit, the manager appears just in time, stepping in front of the twins' attacks and holding them off. The blue twin separates and shoves the manager away. The red monster tries to attack Ki-woong again, but Ju-han shows up with a jetpack and saves him. Ju-han realizes these aren't ordinary monsters, and he's desperate to escape. Just as they're about to get away, leaving the manager behind with zero hesitation, the red monster appears ahead of them and punches Ju-han in the face, knocking everyone down. The monster charges toward Yura to finish her off, preparing to stomp on her. Ki-woong jumps in front at the last second, blocking the hit with his back. Ki-woong thinks this is the end for him. He just wishes he could go out in a cool way, like the characters he used to play. He says he lived a good life, says goodbye to his dream, and hopes he can fulfill it in his next life. No Ki-woong. The scene ends with what appears to be a new hero arriving on the scene. Ki-woong recognizes him, an A-rank hero called Red Mask, who also has super strength. The monster glances back, distracted for a second, and Ki-woong manages to escape from under its feet. He yells out that this is the perfect moment for Red Mask to strike. Red Mask simply says, "Not yet, you bastard." Ki-woong takes a punch to the face while Red Mask calls for Cameraman 01 to start filming the fight. Cameraman 02 starts filming Yura passed out on the ground. They prepare a drone to record, and while doing so, they're adjusting Red Mask's outfit. I swear I'm gonna punch this guy. A flashback shows what looks like a movie shoot, where the director says Red Mask has been improving his acting every day. That jerk thanks him and tells Ki-woong, who appears beaten and bloodied, that he did a great job too. Red Mask says Ki-woong's expression was so good, it actually gave him chills he hadn't felt in ages. Ki-woong thanks him, but then Red Mask says he's thankful because trash-tier villains like Ki-woong always make the hero shine brighter. Ki-woong doesn't understand, and Red Mask says he was just joking. Beating evil is always what gets the viewers hyped, and asks Ki-woong to work with him again next time so he can stand out more. Not sure if I hate this guy or if he's just kinda right. So, Red Mask tells everyone to go ahead, saying he would show the world that the hope of justice prevails. Ki-woong thinks that's super cool. After literally everyone is getting their ass kicked, in the future, the live stream starts. And I have no idea how anyone still has internet at home watching a live stream with the world almost ending. Red Mask begins a motivational speech, saying he wouldn't let anyone die. As long as there were people in danger, he would fly anywhere to protect them. Even if it was just one person, he would fight. Hotter than fire, faster than lightning, the hero of justice, Red Mask, appears. After all that rambling, Ki-woong screams that he's a bastard and asks what the hell he thinks he's doing. Ki-woong starts releasing his aura, saying Red Mask was worse than sewer water, a complete fraud who'd lose an arm wrestling match even against a granny. Ki-woong just goes full Joker mode, saying they were all going to die. Everyone. Literally everyone. He was going to send everyone to the grave. A cameraman tries to tell Ki-woong he's messing up the live stream by talking over the audio. Ki-woong simply knees the cameraman in the face. That's right, Ki-woong. Show no mercy. Everyone is confused, because they thought Ki-woong was a good citizen. And then Ki-woong starts laughing with a creepy face, saying the real villain had just arrived. Even the monsters, who were Chads among Chads, start to get scared of Ki-woong, saying it couldn't be true. The legendary Great Demon had appeared. Cameraman 01 tells Red Mask he's going to pause the stream for a bit, but Red Mask says not to. He comments that Ki-woong is more demonic than a monster, a villain so evil he even threatens cameramen, and everyone knows cameramen are invincible and untouchable. Great writing. Red Mask recognizes this scene from the past. He realizes that the same guy who gave him chills back then is standing right there again. Red Mask smiles, knowing it's going to be an amazing fight scene. Red Mask yells that a cowardly villain can't stop him. Ju-han is stunned watching the scene. Red Mask prepares an attack, saying this is how a villain should be, and this is how a villain should disappear. He fires a laser beam toward Ki-woong, who dodges behind Red Mask. As Red Mask goes in to elbow Ki-woong, Ki-woong grabs a cameraman as a hostage. He really is the real villain, man. Red Mask says he's playing dirty, and Ki-woong laughs, saying of course he is, because he is a villain. He just throws the cameraman aside, forcing Red Mask to run off to save him. Meanwhile, The monsters are eating popcorn, saying Ki-woong is as evil as they are. Red Mask climbs out of the rubble, shouting that in the name of justice, he would never forgive Ki-woong. Red Mask and Ki-woong start trading blows. The manager says it's impressive that Ki-woong is going blow for blow. Maybe he could even win. Ju-han says it's no time to be impressed. Red Mask is still a rank A hero. He's acting and hiding his true strength at the same time. He's just playing with everyone to create a dramatic scene. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, Ki-woong is starting to get his ass beat. Red Mask says he's taken enough hits, and now it's time to end it. Cameraman 01 says this is the part where Red Mask says his final move line, and just becomes an avatar. He says, "Fire, water, wind, and earth, grant me your power, hard punch." As Red Mask is about to finish Ki-woong, just when everyone thinks it's over, the twin monsters simultaneously punch Red Mask in the face. He deserved it, and protect our boy Ki-woong, thus ending the live stream and shocking everyone. To everyone's surprise, the monsters bow to Ki-woong, call him Demon Lord, and ask to be taken for inspection. Laughing hysterically, Ki-woong says he accepts them, and as they finally stand, Yura wakes up to end the nonsense. Goat. Back to our protagonist, who's desperate, saying that everything he did was to try and protect everyone. The evil Proag jumps in again and scares him, and yep, he gets beaten up again. The Protag apologizes like a little girl, begging him to stop with the jump scares. Suddenly, the Protag looks up at the sky and sees a giant cross opening in the sky, glowing gold. He thinks, obviously, that God is coming to take him. He wonders if his 5 years of perfect school attendance are finally going to pay off. As the being gets closer, wait, it's that damn Ji-hyun. Ji-hyun asks what the hell the Protag is doing right now. He cries desperately to Ji-hyun, saying he's really scared. The evil Protag gets pissed because she brought her whole gang into his domain. Ji-hyun threatens him coldly, and the evil Protag shuts up right away. Woman, am I right? Back in the real world, Ji-hyun is trying to heal our Protag. She can sense his aura, but can't figure out what it is. Maybe fear, or maybe dread. It's something unknown. While the Sly Heart King is trying to kiss the Protag, our Ji-hyun is doing her best to heal him. Suddenly, 2 auras appear over the Protag's stomach, a cold and dark aura within his bright aura. Like they're clashing and fighting inside him. Inside the Protag's mind, Ji-hyun's aura is scolding both of them, asking if they understand what the situation is like outside. She yells at them, saying all they do is argue while the world is ending. The Protag tries to say it's all the evil Protag's fault, always bringing up the past and starting fights. Evil Protag says at least explain it right. He's a pathetic lackey who only causes trouble. This Manhwa is wild. She screams at them to shut up and tells them to settle it like real men instead of bickering like little girls. Of course, it couldn't be any other way. She proposes a gym rat duel. 3 rounds of intense weightlifting. Now we're talking. Ji-hyun explains that the rules are simple. Each person gets 1 attempt, and the weight must increase every time the next person goes. But it always has to increase by 10 kilos, and if you fail, you lose immediately. No more stalling. Let's start the fun. Right in the sumo round, the Protag starts off with a total of 450 kilos. Even the damn evil Protag is shocked, and believe it or not, the idiot can't lift it. The Protag says that even if he lost, there's no way the evil Protag could lift more than that, and, believe it or not again, he actually does. The evil Protag says he's a fool for not using his imagination, since they're literally in their own inner world. Moving on to the bench press, they start going wild, adding more and more weight. 200 kilos, one goes to 300, the other to 500, and finally, with 700 kilos on the bench press, our Protag wins. The evil Protag even says that, even for a Manhwa, This was just too rigged. Ji-hyun announces the final challenge: free squats. The evil protag immediately goes for a fucking ton of weight. Even the protag says that, even though they're in their own mind, this is impossible. The evil protag tells him to stop being a hypocrite, since he just benched over half a ton. Cruelly, the evil protag completes the rep. Our protag falls to his knees. And when everyone thought he'd given up, he pulls up 2 buildings, weighing a total of 8 tons. The evil protag starts screaming, telling him to stop because there's no way he could actually do it. Using every ounce of strength, every muscle fiber in his body, even while being cursed out in every way by the evil protag. Our protag says that a man with balls this big can't waste this chance to win. The evil protag gets even more pissed, saying it's always like this, always smiling, even though it'd be so much easier to just give up. Even after Dave was gone. Even after everything. Our protag says that even at the lowest point of his life, even through pain, everyone can see how pathetic he is. But what can he do? It hurts so damn much. Would anything change if he just started crying and putting himself down? Instead of being pathetic, he just has to close his eyes and take one more step forward. After all, they were still young and had a whole future ahead of them. Now that's a protagonist. The evil protag, hearing those words, is genuinely moved. He starts crying and tells the protag to lift that damn weight, that it was okay to lose to him. Ji-hyun, seeing the protag stalling, yanks on his underwear, which, non-ironically, makes the protag activate insane glute strength. And yes, my friends, he finally awakens his inner tiger. Gloriously, in a glorious scene, our protag lifts the barbell, with a massive tiger aura behind him. When Ji-hyun wakes up in the real world and sees our magnificent protag looking at her and thanking her for saving him, saying he kept his promise to return safely. He never promised any of that. Our protag asks where everyone is and, yep, the damn alien had gone back to where Yura was. Our protag tells Ji-hyun he'll see her later. Before she can even ask where he's going, he sprints off faster than the Flash, telling everyone else to hang in there just a bit longer. Right where the alien returns, he says that it doesn't matter the era, doesn't matter the planet. Everyone will remember him, and everyone will be under his feet. He's about to get wrecked. The twin monsters hide, thinking the aliens found out they betrayed them. The guy on the spaceship asks if the commander of the 5th Corps, aka the alien, is really about to get defeated by humans. The alien tells him to shut up, since he was just playing around inside the ship. The guy says, for someone who talks a lot, the damage looks serious, and in his current state, the alien wouldn't win this fight. He even offers help, if the alien wants it. The commander gets pissed, and says he'll wipe out the humans in the blink of an eye. Ju-han says he only needs 3 minutes to save everyone. Yura, barely able to stand, says she'll figure out a way to hold on. But then, like a real man, Ki-woong, who's returned to his sane self, says his villain act wasn't over yet. Ju-han says this is insane, that he should stop acting like a crazy psychopath, because he's already old and broken. And that's when Ki-woong gets hyped. The more he's insulted, the stronger he gets. He charges at the commander, who dodges Ki-woong's first punch, only for Ki-woong to grab his head and smash it into the ground. Was it over already? The commander thinks Ki-woong was just another weakling that got dealt with fast, but folks, this is Ki-woong, there's no way. Ki-woong stands back up behind the commander. The guy wonders what kind of aura that is. There's no way Ki-woong's body should have survived those attacks. He punches Ki-woong in the gut again, but Ki-woong rises once more, yelling that he really thought that would be enough to take him down. Ki-woong says he's never felt this level of dopamine before, an indescribable feeling of strength coursing through his blood, a power so intense he can't control himself. And in a very balanced fight, where the more Ki-woong got hit, the more the commander hit, And the more Ki-woong liked it. Hello? Ki-woong finally lands his first blow, a headbutt to the commander's chin, which sends Ki-woong flying. Seeing his mouth bleeding, the commander decides to use the same laser that killed Dave. Yura panics, screaming for Ki-woong to run. And just as the laser seems to have landed straight on Ki-woong. Yes, our protag shows up carrying Ki-woong in his arms, saying that this time, what he did was really dangerous. These two love each other. The protag's entrance shocks everyone. Ju-han realizes the protag managed to make C8, aka the protag's cat, evolve. Now it was golden and shiny. The protag hadn't even noticed the cat was on his shoulder. He jumps in surprise, and says he almost hit C8 by accident. The commander, not wanting to hear anything, attacks the protag and says he has no idea how he's still alive, but this time, he's going to finish him once and for all. The protag dodges and says the commander is too slow. The protag lands a solid punch on the commander's face, who gets furious at how much he's being humiliated. He orders all the aliens to start fighting too. That's when Ju-han's surprise finally arrives. The guy is Tony Stark. He simply pulls a robot out of a box, which, by the way, was really ugly. A failed attempt at making a daughter of his with Yura, affectionately nicknamed Jura, ha 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 ha. At least the robot starts shooting at all the monsters nearby, and it actually works. Back to the fight between the protag and the commander, just as the commander was about to launch that other attack that turns everything to stone. Our golden C8 summons a portal, so the protag can grab his divine weapon. Ju-han gets super excited since it's his first time seeing a spirit animal materialize a weapon. To everyone's surprise, including mine, the incredible divine weapon of our protag was a fucking pork leg. Makes total sense. The commander attacks the protag directly, who, with his amazing pork leg, clashes head-on with the commander's attack. When he was being petrified, his power activates, breaking all petrification on his body, and with a supreme blow, even clears all the clouds from the planet. The guy literally opened the world's sky. The last image of the commander before taking the blow was the protag's incredible underwear. And the commander even says it's beautiful, that guy. The protag was fighting with two weapons at the same time. Right after that strike, everyone feels the vibration in the earth. Someone inside the spaceship is shown laughing at the situation. Ji-hyun says she knew the protag would manage to save everyone. With the commander lying on the ground all crippled, the protag looks toward the spaceship and asks if he's finally won. Another alien, even more Chad, is shown staring at the protag. This alien flying in the sky contacts someone from the mothership, who reports that the fifth commander lost the battle. This hidden person asks the alien if there was anything special about them. The alien says there's a big difference between the other cultivation planets and this one. It seems the natives of this planet went through many forms of self-evolution to survive in a hostile combat environment. The mysterious person laughs after hearing this. He says he still doesn't know why, but that it's worth researching more. Then the mysterious person says it's a waste of time. Even if an insect evolves, it's still an insect. Even if an ant is twice as big, or a fly flies 3 times faster, it's still nothing. He asks if there's any insect on that planet stronger than him. The 7th commander, okay, from now on I'll call him Commander 07, alright. Commander 07 says there isn't any, or is there? The guy asks if he could be feeling pity for these insects. Commander 07 doesn't understand the question about pity. The guy says he phrased it badly. It's revealed that Commander 07 personally wiped out his entire family with his own hands. The guy says he trusts Commander 07 will handle the job. When landing on the ground, the whole atmosphere changes. Everyone freezes, unable to move a finger. Even breathing is difficult. Commander 07 passes through the humans, saying he isn't interested in trash. He's looking for the monsters who betrayed their pact. The protag, in a heroic attempt, tries to strike Commander 07, who easily grabs both of the protag's hands with one arm. He grabs the protag by the neck and gives him a chance to take a little beating, if the protag really valued his life. The commander says that guys like him, who push beyond the physical limits set by nature, he wants to know how guys like them manage to surpass those limits. The protag, who loses his life but not his joke, says that if he's so curious, he just needs to pay 501 for the answer, and tries to knee the commander in the face. The commander says he clearly lost his chance. He summons a huge claw and says goodbye to the protag. Just when it seemed everything was over, Ji-hyun amazingly heals the protag's wounds. And amazingly again, our protagonist, according to his own words, always resurrects like a dog. Makes no sense. Even Commander 07 doesn't know what kind of aura the protag is emitting. Our almost protagonist arrives, very well dressed, by the way, apologizing for being late. But the protag says she arrived just in time. Not only that, but the incredible BGM, aka Dave's band, all show up in force. Dave's sister, now wearing makeup, asks the protag how he could want Teo go to hell without music. The protag asks if she really wants to know how they break their limits. Well, he's about to explain right then and there. The reason they don't fall, no matter how tired or how hard the situation is because there's no such thing as a sense of justice. He didn't even know the meaning of that word. Much less expectations, criticism, or support, none of that mattered. In the end, they only lived chasing one thing, attention. With everyone ready, our protag tells them to prepare, because now it's time to fight back. After that whole speech, he asks if Commander 07 could please stop flying and come down to the ground. Everyone starts yelling at him to stop being a coward by flying in the sky, and believe it or not, he actually comes down. The first to try attacking is Heart King, who says she can't resist a muscular man in front of her. Jumping to grab him with much love, she gets slapped in the face and flies away. Sexist. Commander 07 says the protag said this was Earth, right? The more he learns about Earth, the more interested he gets. To keep their positivity despite the fear, suddenly he got curious. If even with broken arms and legs and muscles torn all over their bodies, they could still keep smiling. We're screwed, guys. Commander 07 starts transforming. Yura tries to calm everyone down, saying there's that saying, even if you enter a tiger's den, if you stay sane. And not ironically, the damn commander transforms into a ridiculously giant lion. The commander's ability is to transform into any monster based on his will, unlocking a power far stronger than his base form. Even Yura says a lion is a bit too much to fight against. Charging at the protag, he says he can't wait to see the look of desperation on the protag's face as he begs for his life. Our protag, with his quick reflexes, manages to block WW's ultimate attack aimed at him, and says that a cowardly surprise attack like that won't work. They start exchanging blows fairly, matching each other's strength for strength. Ju-han is incredulous seeing the protag holding the monster at bay with his own hands. Suddenly, while our protag was fighting, an old man shouts asking what they're all standing around for while their junior was fighting for their lives. With that, a troop of extremely muscular old men appears. Those guys abuse the juice. The old man yells that friends share each other's burdens. As the troop was about to charge the commander together, the manager stops them. The old man says the manager should get out of the way because his brother is in danger. The manager apologizes and says this battle is one of pride, man against man, fighting each other. He can't spill ashes over his master's will. Ji-hyun says the manager is right, with our protag showing them directly that any trial can lead to growth if you don't give up. Everyone starts to buy into the idea that the protag alone can handle the 7th commander. When the protag begins shouting desperately, asking why the hell everyone is standing still when it's clear he's almost going down for good. He yells for everyone to attack the beast. With an incredibly well-drawn scene balloon, the attack from our amazing duo of handsome men, who are popular despite having less screen time, Ki-woong and Manager, is easily stopped. The old men each took a massive hit. Tony Stark's project combined with Jarvis's project unleashes a burst of fire right on the commander, who barely feels it. And when he was about to destroy the life of our brother Ju-han, she, our beloved Heart King, barely holds the commander's claws. Heart King says that even though Ju-han isn't her type, she had no choice but to use him. Unfortunately, our little Ju-han doesn't escape the Heart King's claws, and we're shown her true aura. After absorbing Ju-han's masculine energy, she charges at the commander. That one showers with juice. Unfortunately, the commander says BL, boys' love, is not welcome. You fought well, Heart King. It's time for our incredible band of crazy lunatics, who arrive in a cart, summoning a spinning aura skull. When the commander tries to flee, Heart King, in her last spark of strength, grabs his feet. And thus, they land a direct hit on the 7th commander. Everyone screams, thinking he's finally down. Even the protag laughs happily, but he emerges from the dust without a scratch. The 7th commander, seeing Ji-hyun holding the protag by the shoulder, remembers his sister asking why he did all that. Then he returns to his normal form, and says that a few hours ago, he had sent an awakened human to hell. He says God only gives trials you can bear, so he hopes they don't give up so easily on this trial. He says maybe they'll meet again, but by the way, he doesn't believe in things like God. Then this bastard goes full Madara and sends a giant meteor toward Earth. With a giant meteor heading for Earth, the news shows an urgent report, the one I just mentioned, a massive meteor rapidly approaching the center of Seoul. Due to the meteor's approach, there are strong electromagnetic interferences. A woman says this might be due to the sudden appearance of monsters all over Seoul. She ends by saying the Heroes Association has not yet issued any response to the situation. She tells all residents near the expected impact zone to evacuate quickly to a safe location. How? In the association's secret room, they just say this will be a disaster. The 7th commander is shown wishing the humans would fight with all their might. He informs his boss he'll return to the ship as ordered. The boss says he's incredibly late and asks if there's any unusual information to report. The commander says no, all disposal was completed. The commander's subordinates mistakenly try to say the process isn't over yet, and are simply eliminated. Should have kept quiet. The commander's boss tells him to return quickly, since they already lost the 5th commander with no gain, and this time the blame will be entirely on the 7th commander. The 7th commander thinks to himself about the word, gain, and wonders if he should wait a bit longer to see what happens. The twin monsters are shown screaming to be taken along with the ship, sidelined because they are quite small. The manager says this time he's really going down for good. Yura tells him to stop saying that with that scary look. Ju-han says things aren't over yet, since he's not just a rank S for show. He prepares an attack against the missile using his robot, which looks more like confetti than an attack. That's when the manager really says it's all over. The protag says he has something to say and asks if everyone will listen. He says he wants to apologize. Yura asks what's wrong for him to suddenly make that confession. She tells him not to set such a creepy mood. He says maybe it's too late, that Dave ending up like that was his fault. He says he was stubborn and selfish, not looking around and acting recklessly, with no plan, immature and causing trouble for others, hiding his true cowardly self behind alpha male acts, laughing and bragging when it was all just pretending. A nerd, idiot, and outcast, that was the real him. He apologizes for deceiving them all. Ji-hyun says that's not true, because it was he who helped her become more confident. He cuts her off, saying he has a favor to ask of them all. He opens a smile. This protag is a bastard indeed, and says from now on he won't pretend to be someone he's not. He will be a truly crazy guy. He asks if they can get crazy along with him. Now it's on, guys. The protag tells Yura to do the famous move. She creates a giant trampoline, and with that, the protag jumps with all his strength and launches himself toward the meteor, with armor being built by Yura. Dave's sister joins the madness and sends an aura skull to give our protag an extra boost. Ju-han sends a jetpack to the protag's back and, with Ji-hyun's power, she gives him a strength buff. The guy turned into Optimus Prime on the dark side of the moon, striking with all his might using his legendary pork thigh. Even after all that, he can't destroy the meteor, but manages to delay its impact, holding it with all his strength, literally spitting blood. After an impact on the ground, the heroes fly away. Ji-hyun wakes up and looks up, seeing the protag fighting with all his strength with his thigh. She tries to heal him, but his arm is broken. He yells at her not to be reckless, saying he can handle it alone. The guy is squatting with a meteor on his shoulder. Ji-hyun shouts that it's not the time to be stubborn. He asks if she really thinks he can't do it. That hurts his pride. Yura asks if then they should just watch him sacrifice himself alone. She says she'll never leave him alone. They'll be together until the end. The power of friendship is beautiful. Ju-han grabs both of them and flies away, saying they can't waste the chance the protag gave them. The protag says this should work. That way he'll save everyone. In his final thoughts, he apologizes to Ji-hyun. Suddenly, a voice shouts for him to lift his head. This isn't the moment to make a fuss over a little pebble. This shouldn't be the moment to show them what a true alpha male really is. Yes, my friends, Dave is alive and kicking, damn it. Ju-han thinks his curse was lifted when the 5th commander went down. Yura says he's still in pieces, but it's shown that Dave's sister glued him back with super glue. Because of that alone, he survived. He says he'll never tell anyone that. Lol. He starts telling the protag. How long is he going to keep whining like a baby? If during the time Dave was out, he had gone back to being that loser from before. Dave asks if the protag wants one more good tip, like in the old days. The protag asks that favor from him. Dave begins telling the protag to take a deep breath, point 2 fingers forward, firmly grab the bar over his shoulders, keep his abdomen tight so his back doesn't bend his hips, and slowly push them back, a little lower, keep knees bent, still in the squat position. Now with everything ready, 1, 2, 3, lift that shit. And with that, we unfortunately end our story here. If this video gets a lot of likes and comments saying you want part 2, I'll bring it here for you. With that, I say goodbye, we're together.